Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome if you're new. So today we are going to be going over the top 5 fastest killing SMGs in the game, and some of these results are going to shock you because we did some testing and we also put it on a chart so you guys can compare and contrast with me the TTKs of the top 5 SMGs in the game. And a lot of things have shifted in season 5 after this update, especially after the buff to the PPSH as well as the nerf to the Tech-9. So if you guys do enjoy the content, a like is certainly appreciated, and make sure to subscribe if you're brand new around here to join Turbo Nation today. Make it official, and let's get on with the video. All right, so before we go over the class setups that I want to show you for the top 5 fastest SMGs in the game after the season 5 update, let's take a look at this TTK chart. And this is some pretty interesting stuff here now that we've seen some adjustments to the Tech-9. Also the PPSH, which is absolutely incredible. So statistically speaking, the fastest TTK for SMGs right now is going to go to the KSP-45 at 210. Now you have to keep in mind that this is on paper the fastest time to kill at 210 milliseconds. Next up, we have the Tech-9 with the repeater. You need to put on the repeater attachment in order to get 221 millisecond time to kill. Now, as you can see, they're very competitive with each other. Obviously, it's going to come down to accuracy if you were to face both of these weapons together. So whoever's got the best accuracy, the most movement, is definitely going to win that gunfight. So, but you know, statistically speaking, the KSP-45 is going to kill a lot faster than the Tech-9. But if I were to pick between the two, I would definitely go with the Tech-9 with the repeater. And this is also with the task force barrel, by the way, because that range is absolutely amazing. 27 meters, and you get to keep that TTK of 221 all the way out to that range. Whereas this is also the KSP with the task force barrel, and it's only at 20 meters. So obviously the bigger advantage goes to the Tech-9 because you want to keep that TTK consistent, and it allows for a lot more, and it allows for a wider range of gunfights. You're not just limited to close, medium. You can also venture out into longer ranges. All right, next up we have the AK-74U at 258 milliseconds. So this is ranking it at number 3 at the fastest killing SMG in the game right now. And the AK-74U is great. Everybody loves using it. It's ease of use. The mobility is definitely number 1 reason why a lot of people love the AK-74U, including myself. It's just so satisfying just being able to finesse people with movement, especially in close quarter combat, and being able to slide cancel. It's just super satisfying stuff. And obviously you melt with it with this TTK. Now, the only thing that I do not like about the AK-74U is that its damage range is fairly short. So as you can see, we're only at 10 meters, and then after 10 meters, it goes all the way up to 344. And at this point, there's other SMGs in the game that are clearly better. So the AK-74U, purely a situational gun. You got to use it up close and personal. But other than that, it's a very fun gun to use. All right, next up, this is mostly going to surprise a lot of people. This is after the PPSH buff. I actually did make a video on this previously, so go ahead and check it out. But the PPSH is now a 264 millisecond time to kill. Now, yes, technically speaking, it is slower than the AK Tech-9 with the repeater as well as the KSP-45, but you have to remember, this is fully automatic here. And this is also with the task force barrel, and this range goes all the way to 23 meters. So this is the longest range for SMGs at this TTK, which makes it absolutely amazing. And it's a fully automatic, like I was saying, and it's definitely going to outgun the AK-74U at longer ranges, which is why the PPSH is definitely now meta. So PPSH is deserving to be in this top 5 list, and I am certainly a bigger fan of it because before, the TTK was so lackluster that it was just one of those guns that I just did not want to use at all until after I maxed it out, I was pretty much done with it. It was like a novelty weapon at that point, but now I can definitely see a lot of people using this. It's for sure a meta type of weapon. You get an incredibly fast TTK at long ranges with the PPSH. It's fully automatic, and this makes it super competitive. All right, and last but not least, we have the MAC-10. Now, we are gonna just call the 5th place a tie for 3. We're gonna make it a 3-way tie, mainly because the MAC-10's TTK is 270, and next in line we have the Tech-9 full auto with task force barrel at 276, and then after that we have the OTS-9 at 280. So all 3 of these weapons are fairly competitive with each other. Their TTKs are so close together that they could definitely pass for tied in 5th place for top 5 fastest killing SMGs in the game. Obviously, if you want to be technical with it, MAC-10 has the fastest TTK out of all these 3 weapons here, but I think the biggest advantage has to go with the Tech-9 once again with the full auto at 276 TTK up to that 25 meter range. So by the way, also, if you're wondering what this is, I think this is a glitch. I was testing out the Tech-9 with full auto, and between the ranges of 26 to 30 231, it was giving us a 184 millisecond time to kill. Then after that, it just goes all the way back up to 276. So I'm pretty sure that is a glitch. So just ignore this. Maybe it's patched by now by the time you're watching this video. But either way, the TTK should be 276 all throughout, and maybe one more damage drop off. But you know, we'll worry about that later. But for now, the TTK of the Tech-9 full auto at this range makes it probably the best one out of the OTS-9 and the MAC-10 for 5th place. So let's go ahead and take a look at some class setups now. Hopefully that this whole visual representation gave you an idea of why I chose to rank these SMGs in the way that they're ranked. And yeah, let's go ahead and get on with the class setups. Hey, you, I know you're enjoying the gameplay, but guess what? I gotta interrupt this because this is a very important announcement. This week, from September 9th to the 13th, my code at GFuel is officially 30% off. Just for those days only, 30% off at gfuel.com. If you guys want to get some flavor recommendations, sour blue chug rug, PewDiePie flavor, even peach cobbler, one of my absolute favorite flavors, definitely try it out. Or if you're skeptical, you don't think G Fuel is for you, just try out a sample. It's super simple, super easy. If you like it, then you like it. Then go back to the website, get some more G Fuel flavors, even try out their cans as well. And don't forget, before you check out, put code TURBO so you can save 30% on your entire order. And a link will be in the description down below to take you to gfuel.com. Appreciate all the support. And yeah, let's get back to the gameplay. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Gunsmith. So we're going to go over these class setups pretty quickly here. And if there's any important information that you guys should know, I will definitely make note of it. So first things first, let's talk about the KSP-45, which is statistically the fastest time to kill SMG in the game as far as burst weapons go. So KSP-45, if you have a trouble picking between the KSP-45 and the Tech-9 with the repeater on it, you got to think about its pros and cons, all right? Pros for the KSP-45 is that it obviously has the faster time to kill statistically. And secondly, you can actually put on a suppressor on it. So those two alone might be just, you know, what is gonna convince you to use it. But if you don't really mind those things and you don't really care for it, then you might want to pick the Tech-9. But anyways, let's go over this KSP-45 class setup. Now we're using the agency suppressor here. We've got the task force barrel. Underbarrel is gonna be the patrol grip. Handle is the serpent wrap, and stock is gonna be the nose stock. Now, if you're curious why I'm picking these attachments, it's mainly from all of my testing and analysis, because I like to test all my weapons first before I go ahead and recommend you guys some attachments. If you're curious, just go on my channel, do a search for these specific SMGs, and you'll see that you'll see some in-depth videos that I've done on all of these SMGs, and it'll include all the testing and all the data and results and stuff like that. Now, moving forward, anything that I'm using for the secondary, tactical, lethal, etc., perks or whatever, is all personal preference. You can use whatever you want to. I'm just providing you guys the primary weapon here and the attachments that you should be using. So here you can use whatever you want to, but if you want to copy my perk setup, go ahead and feel free to do so. All right, moving on to the Tech-9, and this is with the repeater. Like I was saying, some people may want to go with this because you are able to use it at longer ranges, and also the movement is a lot more fluid in my opinion. I feel like it's very close to the AK-74U's movement. At least that's what I feel like. I feel like you just glide around the map with it, and you know, to me, movement and being able to maximize its range and keep that TTK very short at longer ranges is kind of important to me. So that's why I would pick this one over the KSP-45. The only downside, like I was saying, is that you can't put a suppressor on it, but if you don't mind it, then this is going to be for you. All right, muzzle, burst fire repeater. Barrel is going to be the task force barrel. Underbarrel is the field agent grip. Magazines is the STANAG 39 round. Handle is going to be the airborne elastic wrap. And again, feel free to copy this if you want to. And most of my secondaries, they're pretty much just blueprints. I don't really use my secondaries too much. So, you know, it's all personal preference. You can use whatever you want to here. All right, next up, we have the AK-74U. So now we're moving into fully automatic submachine territory here. So the AK-74U by stat wise is the fastest killing SMG in the game. However, with a caveat, it's purely situational in my opinion. It's only got a max range of 10 meters when you put on the task force barrel, which is what we're going to be using here today. And you know, it has incredible mobility. So some people may find this enjoyable to use in close quarter combat, but like I said, you're kind of limited to 10 meters only before that damage drop off takes that TTK a lot higher after 10 meters. So let's go over the class setup. Muzzle is the Spetsnaz compensator. Barrel is the task force barrel. Underbarrel is going to be the Spetsnaz grip. Magazine is the VDV 50 round fast mag, and handle is the GRU elastic wrap. Now let me clarify though, the underbarrel you can use Spetsnaz speed grip. Magazine you can use whatever you want to. Handle, I definitely do advise using attachment like the GRU elastic wrap if you're going to use an attachment like the 50 round fast mag, because you want to mitigate the negative of the aim down sight time. So always keep those things in mind when you're building your class setup with the AK-74U. But in general, no matter how you build it, you can't really go wrong with it. That's how good that this gun is and how it feels. And again, these are the rest of my perks here, as well as my secondary and the rest of my equipment. All right, moving on to the PPSH 41. So after its buff, it literally became the fastest TTK as far as any situation possible in the game. As you saw in the stat graph, that the PPSH had a fairly super close TTK next to the AK-74U, but the edge goes to the PPSH here because it has a much farther range. So you're keeping that low TTK very consistent up to that longer range, and also it's fully automatic. So definitely a W in my opinion, and it's going to make the PPSH a lot more fun to use after this buff. Now for the attachments, this is exactly what I'm using right now. So I'm using the KGB Eliminator, barrel's the Task Force barrel, underbarrel's the 𝗧𝗠𝗥𝗡𝗦𝗢𝗧 grip, magazine's the 55-round drum, and handles the 𝗧𝗠𝗥𝗡𝗦𝗢𝗥𝗦. Now one thing I do have to say about this gun though is that the recoil is not one of the easiest things to control on this gun. Now with that said, that's why you have to use the KGB Eliminator to help with vertical recoil, as well as the underbarrel of the 𝗧𝗠𝗥𝗡𝗦𝗢𝗧 grip. This was a game changer. I was testing out different grips here, and it turns out that the 𝗧𝗠𝗥𝗡𝗦𝗢𝗧 grip did give me the best results for controlling that recoil. So you have to also keep in mind that we're using the Task Force barrel, and this is what was actually buffed pretty recently, and why we need to use this to turn that TTK into a much faster killing submachine gun. Task Force barrel is what's going to transform this gun, and which is why we need it, because I know some of you guys are probably wondering, Turbo, why would you use this attachment if the recoil is going to go crazy? Well, if you want that fast TTK, put on the Task Force barrel. It's definitely worth it if you put on these attachments here, like the muzzle and the underbarrel that I just showed you. Now magazine, you could obviously use whatever you want to. It's all personal preference, but for me personally, I want to keep my ADS time really quick. So that's why I'm using the 55-round drum, and for me, I feel like that's sufficient enough for most gunfights and even more opponents. Handle, we're using that 𝗧𝗠𝗥𝗡𝗦𝗢𝗥𝗦 wrap. If you take a look at that, 192 millisecond aim down side time, incredibly fast. You're going to be snapping on opponents super quick, very satisfying. And again, here is the rest of my class setup. Now moving on to the 5th spot. Now like I was saying, the 5th spot, it definitely belongs to 3 different SMGs. That would be the MAC-10, the OTS-9, as well as the Tech-9 with the full auto on it. All fairly competitive, super close. So I'm going to provide you guys class setups for all those SMGs right now. So let's start off with the MAC-10, mainly because statistically on paper it has the fastest TTK out of all 3 of those SMGs. So this is an 8 attachment class setup, by the way. This is the only way I feel like it's manageable to use, because it's one of those guns that requires a lot of attachments to be able to make it feel smooth. So that's probably mainly one of the disadvantages to it. But if you want to rock 5 attachments, by all means go ahead and do it. I'll show you here what you can use in case you do want to. So for the 8 attachment, we're using SOCOM Eliminator, barrel is the reinforced heavy, body is the soft target designator, underbarrel is the speed grip, magazine is the 53-round fast mag, and handle is the airborne elastic wrap, stock is the Raider stock. Now if you want to run a 5 attachment class setup, all you have to do is just remove the stock. Now keep in mind, you are going to have to deal with the horrendous iron sights, but if you get used to it, then this is going to be a pretty good SMG to use. And then after that, remove the body. So now you have only 5 attachments. So everything pretty much stays the same, just remove. Obviously, you're not going to use an optic, no body, and no stock. All right, and here's the rest of the class setup, all personal preference. Moving on to the OTS-9. So this is a 5 attachment class setup. Muzzle is going to be the KGB Eliminator, Task Force barrel, and we also got the 40-round 𝗧𝗠𝗥𝗡𝗦𝗧. Handles the 𝗧𝗠𝗥𝗡𝗦𝗢𝗥 wrap, stock is the KGB Skeletal stock. All right, and last but not least, we got the Tech-9 full auto. So this may be a choice for some of you out there who want to take advantage of that range that this offers versus the MAC-10 and the OTS-9. Muzzle is going to be the full auto repeater, barrel is the Task Force barrel, underbarrel is the field agent grip, magazine is the STANAG 39-round, handle is the airborne elastic wrap. All right, and that about concludes my video for the top 5 fastest killing SMGs in the game after this season 5 update. So hopefully you guys did learn something new, especially with the TTK chart that I showed you guys in the beginning of the video. It's always important, man. Sometimes that's why I love showing you guys these TTK charts, because I'm a visual learner. And when you look at something, and when you're looking at something from a visual standpoint, you have a little bit more understanding of why you should be using certain things in the game, because the numbers don't lie. So pride over that, and doing my testing to help you guys out as well, to so I do all the dirty work for you guys so you don't have to do that. Anyways, if you guys did enjoy the video and you learned something, make sure to leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it, and make sure to subscribe if you're brand new around here to join Turbo Nation today. Make it official, and I will see you guys in the next one. Yo, if you guys are always on your computer all day, or you like to game for long sessions, definitely check out gameradvantage.com for these blue light blocking glasses. Quite literally, the best blue light glasses that you can ever find on the market. Make sure to check out gameradvantage.com and just learn more about it, man. There's so many benefits to keeping your eyes nice and healthy. You won't feel that strain at the end of the day, and you'll go to sleep like a baby at the end of the day, and that's the best part. You won't feel tired at all. Definitely check out gameradvantage.com. Use code TURBO at checkout.